So, in case anybody's interested, I'm just going to go into a little talk about meditation and self liberation. Since it's all quiet for now, utilize this time for those of you who are keeping up with this kind of stuff and accessing this kind of stuff. Um, so, the big part about this awareness practice is increased visibility. And of course, I've probably said that a lot, but nothing wrong with re emphasizing that we turn the lights on within our minds, within our lives, and with, within this reality, however you want to call that. Uh, for many people, enlightenment is like a video game goal or a level or something like that. But there are many of us who came in because we truly wanted to be free from the disturbances of the mind. For example, um, not only did I really, really want to benefit beings, but I wanted to be free of the traumas and the cycles my mind was putting me through. It was painful. And for that, this awareness practice came through in a big way. And I think being rooted in that kind of sincerity is what prevails here today in our gatherings. That there's no superficiality associated with this methodology. It's all based on we really want to be free. And so, increased visibility, you can correlate with the four foundations of mindfulness. So, typically, we would say mindfulness practices increase the visibility of thoughts and emotions, perhaps bodily occurrences too, physical excitations, and somatic oscillations that really vibrate through us. When we do a 10-minute session, there could be a lot echoing out for you. There could be stuff that needs space to breathe. And so, what needs space to breathe? What are we allowing to self liberate, to breathe in our 10-minute session? That's the topic of this discussion. The most important aspect of the Buddha Dharma is the liberation of the conditioned self. I was about to call it the subject. See, my mind doesn't want to divide anymore. The subject object dichotomy, the famous one, the famous duality of self and other, on which everything is sort of predicated upon. And in this way, there are many vague notions and abstracts about what is conditioned self. Anybody here want to take any guesses on that? If I was sitting here in a 10-minute session, I'm within space-like awareness so I could see everything that's happening. Well, where would the conditioned self be? We know where thoughts would be, right? Yeah, Thomas.
Contracting to our thoughts.
Attaching to the thoughts. So, an awareness practitioner has the ability to stay here in awareness. I would say, Alexander, it's like Thomas was saying, the thing attaching to the narrator. It's almost like you could have narration without that. And Manas Vijnan, as it's known in Sanskrit, has this habit of apprehension. So wonderful, even now, that you're able to identify it in one of its aspects. Of course, it has different behaviors and different weights and different tonalities. It's on a spectrum. We can't expect that the habit of conditioned self only behaves one way. But thanks to the synthesis of the Buddhist teachings with Yogacara, we have the 8 aspects of mind. And so the conditioned self is one of the things that's here. Let's say we're talking about a giant screen right now. What's on the screen? We have conditioned self, we have thoughts. Thoughts are visible in awareness, especially if you're stabilized a little bit in awareness, then you know what kind of thoughts you're having. Whether they're heavy, whether they're light, uh, which topic they're relevant to, all of that is in your visibility. Yes or no? Are there any thoughts that escape awareness? No. And so this is something that can be verified. Is awareness there through my good thoughts, my bad thoughts? Is it there just the same? Is it there when I'm feeling a little sleepy during the 10 minutes? Is it there when I'm feeling excited and wakeful? Is it there just the same, this clear light awareness? That's for you as a scientist to verify. And I suppose you can use it as a belief system at this point. I'm saying it's better than anything else out there. But ideally, we'd see this. And so naturally, we can conclude, well, awareness has been here all day today. It was there when I was falling asleep, just the same. Of course, it'll be there during death. Of course, it will. And awareness practitioners who are beginning to familiarize with the view, you see that it was there when you were born. I'm going to repeat, you don't need to try to remember your past lives, just become less blind. You don't need to try to recollect, to recall. Just release distraction. Everything is accessible. So we have thoughts, emotions. If I come to the 10-minute session, or if I do a 10-minute session on my own, like all these Dzogchen teachers recommend, and how we utilize this practice, um, then I may also have, kind of like in CBT, in cognitive behavioral therapy, I may have a panic right now. Many of us get triggered into panic, and the body, the nervous system feels tight. Perhaps the breath becomes shorter. We become very volatile, maybe even hostile. And so I can sit here and let that be, no matter how crunched up it feels, no matter how uncomfortable. And don't do anything about that tension, because that's more tension. What your tension needs, what your panic, your worry, your sadness, your anger, your conditioned self, what it needs is space. Allow it to be in space, and it will unravel. That's self-liberation. That's cessation. That's nirvana. Why this practice is so powerful? Because you can liberate karmic cycles. You can liberate conditioning by doing nothing. And so we also enter into this as the conditioned self is liberating. We enter into this all phenomenon. So all sounds and all these are vibratory, whether it's sounds, sights, smells, they're all vibratory. So all these vibes, all this energy, we also allow to be within awareness. And so every time subjectivity is softened up within awareness, given space, nourished within awareness, so is objectivity. Like this perhaps well known quote by Longchenpa, mind resolving itself within phenomena, and phenomena resolving themselves within mind. Because right now, if I look in the open room and I'm really attached to something, I happen to have some bananas right there, um, and I'm really craving these bananas, well, I'm enhancing duality like that. I'm imprinting subject and object, and the action too, by the way, the third sphere of conception. So I'm sitting here really into this banana. In order to do that, I need a self to be into the banana. If I wasn't into the banana, so as my alleviation happens, as the hooks come out, my craving for the banana, so does the subjectivity. So they're both resolving like that. And so those who are further along, we can really abide here with all the elements, including space. And it's not only little tension inside your body, somatic oscillations that are echoing out, but it's also your intertwinement, your entanglement with the environment, your mind traffic, beginning to resolve in very profound ways that you could never contrive. You could never fabricate this kind of resolution. Doesn't it make perfect sense? Isn't that amazing? We don't need to fabricate resolution. And yeah, sometimes it's like waiting at a bus stop. Not much happening. Just letting be whatever's here. But when that starts to come off of us a little bit, there's the great perfection.